The fervor of the crowd couldn't even compete with the impeccably bad service at the new restaurant in town. And for such a decadent place, you can still see the tiny holes in the wall that remain unspackled, as if such an activity was more difficult than hanging an absurdly large chandelier. Call this my own maniacal foreshadowing, but as I honed in on specific customer reviews, and let it be known that I never waste my time reading others' seasoned and sordidly pugnacious opinions of things that I am alive enough and willful enough to judge with my own mouth, my finger moved with trepidation over the Book Now button on my highly coveted open table page, doubtful as to whether or not I'd personally take notice of the my words, not theirs, long bouts of an absentee waitstaff. Don't get me wrong, waiting can be a privilege, but not when you have a voracious appetite. My guests, with their broad-mindedness when it comes to seating arrangements, sat far too close for me to feel comfortable holding my fork. Then there was the absurd closeness of our table guests. I could feel their breath, so thick in fact I could hold it in my hand, and the smell of the essential beard oil they used that day. Despite my discomfort, it seemed for a second that we had dodged an entirely disastrous ambiance found upstairs, and at this point I couldn't care less if anyone recognized me for more than drink order, food order, meal delivery. But then my co-eating mate got cold. Not in temperament, rather, his nose caught a chill as air from the air conditioner blew the loose frays of his ungelled hair like the end of a hose whose connection to the spigot has started to deteriorate. You know that vision of loose, sporadic frays of water squirting this way and that? In other words, his hair did a forehead dance. Since I didn't have my face mask handy, the one with those cute cutout eyes and mouth to keep him warm and quiet, then came an onslaught of requests that if I were one to be and get embarrassed, a small stripe of crimson would have likely spread across my face like a ruddy alcoholic-looking mess. When the request to turn down the AC basically put us on their shit list, it was time to go. And this is where the old food standby needs to exist. We hurriedly made our way through the white plastic drums that were being beaten on the sidewalk by the late-night artist crowd that caused heavy foot traffic and a ton of noise complaints. What's never disappointing is consistency. If you're going to give me stale bread and frozen fish, please do it every time. I swear this isn't a one-star review or the honorary words of a child who didn't get their way. I'd give a consistent meal under ill lighting and a good conversation over anything. Now for a good coffee and some contemplation.